episode of Cooked with Lou Creuset. Yeah. And so you're probably really surprised to see me because this is not usually my segment, but today I'm making dinner, and so this is what we are making. It is going to be a...
Wait, let me just say this. Everybody has a day to cook.
Everybody has the day to cook.
Yeah.
Usually Mom and I do this fun thing where we do every other person. And so when it's time to cook, we look at them like, so you want to cook dinner? and then we keep a tally, like, but I cooked breakfast, so you got to cook dinner. And we're like, that's not an even trade.
So I'm not the only one cooking around here. And even the hubster has a day, which is normally on the weekend.
Okay, so we are making a linguine sausage.
Oh, you got to put it down so they can see.
Okay. We are making a linguine. This is from Wegmans. Sausage and broccoli like Alfredo, but it's really just heavy cream, like it's like a rich type of creamy pasta, and it has been my favorite since I was a little kid. You can ask my mom. When we went to like an Italian restaurant, it didn't matter what everyone else was having. I ordered the same thing each time, and this was when we were in Germany, so it wasn't called this, and I can't remember what it actually was called, but you would know it as Alfredo, and I would order that. I think it was called a cream pasta, but not in English, obviously. And so I looked for this recipe when I came back stateside, and I couldn't find it until the top of this year when I was watching someone on Instagram, and they showed me like basically the basics. So from that, I expanded and made my own. So what you're going to need for this recipe. All right, so what you're going to need for this recipe is you're going to need about 1 head and a half of broccoli. You're going to need 1 whole medium-sized onion. You're going to need 3 regular cloves of garlic. You're going to need your form of sausage. It can be plant-based. It can be... Is there such thing as a gluten-free sausage?
I don't know.
But it can be whatever sausage you like. And then you're going to need 1 tablespoon of butter. And the butter is for the very end. It helps make it creamier. You're also going to need a cheese of your choice. Mostly for this recipe, people will tell you to use Parmesan, but I am a person that doesn't like Parmesan. And so I don't use it in cooking. So if you don't want to use Parmesan, make sure that you have a cheese grater, because you can make it fine and it will still melt and it'll do all the things that it's supposed to do. You also need a heavy cream or a half and half. I find both work best. If you are vegan or vegetarian, I recommend using a half and half, like I think they have them at some
They
stores.
do. It's by Ripple.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It works, but I would not recommend making it with almond milk. It won't work the same. You'll have to do other steps. Then again, linguine pasta. But I
didn't see the pasta.
Oh,
okay.
The linguine pasta. And then for the seasoning for it, you're going to need some salt. Can I see salt?
Mm-hmm.
Salt. You're going to need some onion powder. You're going to need some garlic powder, some paprika, and some oregano.
And guys, that paprika has some kick to it, so you know.
Yeah.
She likes it spicy too.
Yes. So you can also use, I think it's called cayenne pepper too.
That's what it's picking it up a whole.
I'm just going to add a double helping of this so that I don't have to add both of them. So right now we are going to make the broccoli, and I know you're thinking the noodles come first, but I actually do the broccoli first because it's going to go back in to be cooked, so it's going to be reheated. But for me, when I make the noodles, I pour the water out, and so I make the broccoli first so that I know it's done and I don't have to worry about it anymore.
What are you using to cook it in?
We are using the...
Oh, she's using the 5-quart Dutch oven.
Oh, you hesitated too.
No, and then she's using...
In the color cream? What color is it?
In the color meringue, and then you're using a Braiser, right?
Yes, what
the
color?
Cool mint.
Okay, so we're going to use the Dutch
So what are you
oven
doing first?
I'm going to take these and I'm going to drop them into the boiling water that has been heavily salted, and they say that it's supposed to taste like the ocean. I make it taste like the ocean a little bit further because it kind of cooks really fast. So you just slowly slide, and I do it this way. well, Mother is not in a very good place, but I do it this way so it doesn't splash on me.
But it's splashing on
But the camera person can't really complain, you know. Because the camera guy always survives. Everyone knows this. The cameraman always survives. They're invisible and they always survive.
I don't know about this hot water though.
The hot water's like, I can see
Boiling
her.
hot.
I can definitely see her. And okay.
Oh.
The reason why I'm adding so much broccoli is because once it goes into the heavy cream sauce, it breaks apart somewhat, and so you seem like you get less broccoli. So just like how spinach type like doesn't wilt, but it kind of like goes away, the broccoli does a similar thing. I'll show you guys, you'll get it. Okay, so this is now the fun sorts of steps. So you just take the pasta and you put them in the boiling water, and then while you're doing everything else, the noodles are cooking. You don't need them to the very end. That's why it's really great. All right, the first thing that go in is our sausages. That's because the sausages, even though they're not meat, can give the pan some flavor, some added flavor. So we have the sausages first, but also because they are vegan sausages, they sometimes cook slower than the onions would. So I'm just like kind of mix them around to get them coated in the oil. Careful not to splash the cameraman this time. Mom's like, help! Somebody! And so I'm going to show you guys, but when they start browning a little bit, I add the onions in then. But you can see that it's like releasing some flavors and residue in the pan. Alright, so you can see that the veggie meat is shiny now. It's cooking really fast. And so what I do now is when the onions are nice and caramelized, then I just go with the sausage being done because it is veggie meat. But for you, there is a lot of other steps if this is actual meat. Mother, do you know what those steps are?
You just have to brown your meat first, or use and then put it to the side. Like if you were using chicken, you would just brown it first and then set it to the side.
Alright, so
brown it or cook it first and then
you might need to add a little bit more oil to prevent the cream from burning at the bottom. But in this step, we can also add the seasoning. So this is a tablespoon of paprika, a heaping teaspoon of garlic powder, and like half a teaspoon of onion powder. And I only did half a teaspoon of onion powder because there's onions in here, and I may or may not put chives on top. So I figured it was enough onions. It was enough, guys. So the reason why I let the onions cook first before adding the seasoning is because once the onions start cooking with the seasoning on it, it's hard to know if they're browning or if they're just red. Now we haven't added salt yet. That was intentional. So we're adding the broccoli, and it's okay that it is doing this at the bottom, because when we add the cream, because the cream is a liquid, it is going to rise into the cream and give it just that much of a rich flavor. And so what I like to do is, I feel like that's my catchphrase, what I like to do, so I'm just stirring this around because it's changing the color, which is what I want, because by changing the color, that means it's also mixing in the seasoning. So, sorry. I was talking to Mom, not you guys. And so you're going to turn this on medium, and then you can add here, you can add some canola oil, you can add some butter, and it will give it like a rich taste. So it seems kind of pointless, but you put this in here because it's hot enough that it will just break it down. So I just kind of move it, and we need cheese. So we're gonna leave it alone for a moment to get the cheese. All right. And of course, there's much simpler options. You could buy pre-grated. Never said that I went with the easy method. You also can do this well before and can remember that the cheese does need to be grated, you know, like normal people do, but yeah. I always seem to forget this step and how long this step takes. Okay. Something interesting is happening. So you see the bubbles. You don't actually need very much of this, by the way. But these bubbles mean that it's almost done, because what you need to be able to do is move this through and then it stay on its respective sides by not going fast. You need to go slow and it stays instead of going fast. So you're basically cooking down the heavy cream. And I'm mixing in the butter to make sure it's fully. And notice how the noodles are not in here, and that is because the noodles would prevent this from being possible. Oops, see? It's moving. It's taking longer to just completely block the path. Yeah. But you do it really carefully, otherwise you splash the entire. See? It always surprises me when it works. Okay, and then you can turn it to low before you add your noodles to it. All right, so this is it. Mother took my fork, so I have one.
I see you, hamster, running up. You want to come over and taste test with her?
No.
It's like he's still
She said that tonight.
Okay. Dad, they're going to think that you don't like my food now that I think about it.
No.
So, I know.
It's not about not liking. Of course.
It's really good. Sorry. But you can do the outro for this video, Mom. I don't know how it goes.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys get a chance to try the recipe. And we will see you guys in the next one. Bye.